A common narrative in our culture today is that there's a conflict between science and the Christian faith. But the question is that really the case? I'm joined today by Dr. Cynthia Cheung, who's an astrophysicist and a Christian, who's going to help answer that question. Dr. Cheung, what would you say to somebody who would say there's conflict between science and Christianity?
My personal experience has been that there has never been any conflict. But people who usually ask that kind of question seem not to know too much about science in general. So usually when I respond to them, I would say, I actually tell them that I'm a scientist and also a Christian, and explain to them why I don't see any conflict. I go into some details, usually some interesting facts about like astrophysics, and they'll be very surprised because they never heard that before. So I don't see that as a conflict, and really fundamentally there's no conflict. Usually people really do not understand too much about science and usually not much about faith either. So normally these people are just seeking, and it's really a nice platform to start to introduce to them Christianity.
Okay, great. And so then how do you personally integrate your work as a scientist with your faith as a Christian?
I think faith provides me with a fundamental integrity in doing science. As a lot of people know, the scientific method is derived from biblical principles. Without the foundation of those principles, I don't think science can really be directed in the right directions. As nowadays, a lot of people know scientific technology are developing such that there's an ethical question connected with a lot of issues. Mm-hmm. How we can apply what we learn, what we discover is a big issue, even in astrophysics, because it really affects our worldview, how to deal with human issues. So that's how I'm looking at it right now. And it's extremely important to have that foundation, have the principle in order to do science.
So you're saying then that for you, your faith kind of gives you a framework in terms of how to think about those scientific discoveries and how that knowledge should be applied. Is that what you're saying?
That's correct. And also I think, because the Christian world will give me the foundation of actually exploring something that God created and which is God says was good. And so I could just really study the good things that God has created. Whereas, in my own culture, some of these things, people do not explore them because they seem to just physical world does not mean anything to them. So it's very different.